Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Whatever the F I Want podcast, where I, your host, Gabby, gets to talk about whatever the F I want. We are here at the beach watching the sunrise here in Chicago. I, woke up around like 4:30-ish on accident because I was originally going to get up at 5, which would have given me about 20-something minutes to, quickly get ready and then drive to the beach. And I was like rushing a little bit, and I'm like, oh my God, like I should have gotten up whenever I woke up at 4:30. And then I was like, wait, just because the weather app says the sunrise is going to happen at a specific time doesn't mean it's actually going to happen at that time. Like the other day, the weather app said it wasn't going to rain till 3, but it rained at 2. And, I just think it's really easy to get caught up in like what reality is showing you, and that's not really true unless you're living it. And so I was telling myself, like, you know what, Gabby, it's okay that you're getting red lights because you're still probably going to see the sunrise and all is well. And lo and behold, we are here watching the sunrise. I today want to talk about the paradox of life. I've been thinking a lot about life in general, and it's just so crazy to think that life itself can be so bittersweet. So I was recently thinking about grief because I'm still grieving. I particularly think quite a bit about my nephew Grayson and in quote unquote influencer, his name's Evan Cooper, I believe. He was sharing a story about his life, and he was visiting his brother who was stillborn. And I, was so emotional hearing his story and watching him grieve simply because it, touches my heart in a very specific way. And it's so interesting that it's with grief, right? Such extreme sadness that you can also experience a lot of sweet moments as well, because it makes life so much sweeter because now you know how to appreciate it. And it's really shitty that it takes for loss to create that, but it is loss that does, unfortunately. And that also relates to breakups, like it's a breakup that teaches you just how love can really be, how caring love can be, how whole sometimes love can make you. It can sometimes highlight very fond memories, yet it can also rip your heart away. Love can also rip and destroy every single piece of you. And it's just so crazy, right? To think that some of the things that are so sweet can also be so painful. And that's just life, right? It's this balance. It's this yin and yang. It's this nuance to it. It's layered. It's multidimensional. It's not just this or that or black and white. There's so many layers to life. So I'm a fire sign, right? I have a lot of fire in my chart. And I realized that, when people try to pour water onto a fire, right, that's extinguishing it. And I have been with people who have tried to make me so small, and that, can cause you to like die inside, and it's with that you kind of let go of things or like destroy them earlier than you anticipate, simply because I'm a fire, you're meant to kindle it, not extinguish it. And as a kid, I was told a lot, Gabby, you cry so much. Gabby, you're so emotional. And I didn't really realize how much of my emotions I swallowed simply because I guess my family didn't know how to handle somebody who had very big emotions. And so I've spent so much of my life, what's helped free me from, that lump in my throat is to talk, is to let out all of my vulnerability that I was once told to swallow because, oh, women are so emotional, and I didn't want to be this super emotional woman. And, just being told that emotions weren't real or that they weren't valid in situations, because it didn't matter how I felt. What mattered was how my parents felt. It's what they said that went. And again, the paradox, the nuance to it is that it has taken for me to allow myself to feel, to let go. And it's crazy that what frees you the most is forgiveness. But it's not necessarily forgiveness that somebody else gives you. It's not particularly that somebody apologizes to you. What it is that you just forgive the person regardless of whether or not they apologize. And isn't that crazy, right? Crazy how life works. That it takes for you to forgive the situation, for you to potentially forgive that person, for you to forgive yourself for thinking that you could have protected a child from this environment when really it's the adult that should have known better and should have done better and should have treated you better. Again, so crazy that that's just how it all works. And I think it's just so important to understand that if we did not experience darkness, we would not appreciate the light. If we did not experience pain, we would not experience love. And I know that some circumstances can be so unfortunate and so shitty. And, I'm not saying that people deserve to experience pain, because I don't believe that at all. But unfortunately, that's just a part of life. Everybody is experiencing any kind of emotion at any given moment. And more than likely, everybody is going through something that you don't know about. And so it's just important to treat people with kindness and with sympathy. You might not know exactly what people are going through, but at the very least, you can try to understand, or just try to approach people gently, or to just give people the benefit of the doubt and to say, this person might not have approached me or talked to me at the grocery store in a way that I thought was polite, but I really don't know what it is that they're going through. And it's not my responsibility to hold on to these emotions. And what I've learned, through my research on YouTube and podcasts and books is emotions are energy in motion. It's really important that you channel that energy and you alchemize it, these feelings, these events that happen to you, and you turn it into something, right? Go for a run. Runs, working out, moving your body really helps neutralize situations and helps you look at things clearly. It helps you unwind and just focus on the task at hand, because it's so easy to get caught up in, well, why did they say it like this? And so hasn't texted me back. And I don't know why things are happening like this. I asked God for more money and I got fired from my job. And it's like, that saying, like, be careful what you ask for. It's that you don't understand that whenever you're asking for something, you're also asking for something else to be let go. When you're asking God for this perfect, ideal relationship that you have in your head, and you're dating a loser, God is going to be like, okay, bet. And then you're going to break up. And then you're going to be like, what happened? I thought I asked for this. I also think it's so important to know where your values are and to understand that not everybody will meet you where you're at. But you have to be willing to be patient and to understand that the right people will find you. I used to worry so much as a kid about being liked, about being welcomed, about feeling seen, because I quite frankly did not feel seen at all in my home life. I don't know if that has to do with being a middle child. I'm sure a lot of it has to do with that. I remember one time I did something to get in trouble and my mom was like, you're supposed to be the easy one. And, I think a lot of times middle kids get forgotten, but that's neither here nor there. I really think, so let's just look back at that. I felt forgotten as a kid, just not really paid attention to. I did everything that my family said I was supposed to do. Get good grades, make honor roll, be super involved, go to college. I did all the things that they wanted me to do. But it was never what they wanted me to do that was going to make me happy. What would make me happy is what I wanted to do. So what happens is that's where resentment comes into play. People tend to resent those around them for creating these expectations for them that they were just never born to meet. And that's why a lot of people stay in relationships, stay at jobs, stay around friends or people who make them feel like shit, because they think to themselves, maybe I can be that person. Or why don't I just swallow who I am and try to become that for them? Then they'll love me. And what you don't really realize is that when you're looking for love externally, when you're looking for things externally, it's really internally where you need to look. I don't think we really realize how much setting yourself free internally does for you. But it is internally where you will find the love that you're looking for. It is internally where you'll find the peace that you're looking for, the comfort that you're looking for. When was the last time you hugged yourself? When was the last time you told yourself, hey, you're doing a good job? Hey, I believe in you. And just think about that. We need to be kinder to ourselves in order for life to be kinder to us. Because how can you expect for somebody to walk around and be a good, loving, kind person when they're simply not that to themselves? So next time you want to point the finger at somebody of something that they did or something that they said that triggered you, really take a look back at yourself and ask yourself, why do I feel so triggered by this? Why does somebody calling me ugly online affect me? Do I feel ugly? Why do I feel ugly? Because somebody can compliment you 100 times over. I mean, I remember dating somebody and they're like, it doesn't matter how many times I tell you that you're beautiful. It doesn't matter because you don't believe it. And I used to think, well, maybe if they just told me, 30 more times I would believe it. Maybe in a couple of years I'll believe it. But in reality, I was never going to believe it because I didn't believe it. It's like the same thing with addiction. You cannot force somebody to get clean, to get sober. You can't. It's something that they have to want. And isn't that so crazy, right? You think that love is going to, overcome all these obstacles. And sure, love can create feelings or help potentially entice somebody to want to work on themselves. But in reality, how is somebody supposed to work on something when they don't think it's a problem? And so it's really important that you just take a look at yourself, at the people around you, and ask yourself, am I happy? Is this the life I want to live? Is this the legacy that I want to leave behind? And if so, if you think, I'm on the right track, I'm doing great, I'm so proud of myself, then I am so happy for you. And if you question, am I on the right path? What should I be doing? Oh, I really want to start this, but I really don't think it's possible. I heard recently somebody say that they named the voice in their head, because the voice in your head isn't necessarily you, right? Sometimes it's this mean person who tells you, you suck, or why are you trying? I don't believe in you. Imposter syndrome, give that voice a name. And I thought that was so liberating, that piece of advice, to be able to give that meanie voice inside your head a name. The example that they used was Karen, right? To say in your head, Karen, I don't want to listen to you right now. Karen, I don't agree with you. Karen, why are you being mean to me? And I did that for one day, and it was so crazy to think about how much easier it was to shut it off whenever I detached from it, right? I allowed for this person in my head to be this external thing. Because in reality, all of these negative thoughts that come up in my head were never there to begin with. A child doesn't question whether or not they're worthy. A child doesn't question whether or not they deserve to be loved. A child doesn't question whether or not their drawings are bad. They think that they're great. Hey, Mom, look at what I did. Mom, look at this flip. Mom, look at me. Look at my handstand. Kids do not question themselves. They think everything that they do is cool. Like, the confidence I had as an 8-year-old in the pool trying to impress the lifeguard, insane. Like, a child's confidence is so extreme and unbreakable, but it is society, it is family members, it is quote-unquote friends, it is teachers and mentors, unfortunately, that tend to drown out your dream. I went to lunch recently with somebody that I met at the beach. Older gentleman, retired. I saw him there on the 4th of July. We got to talking about books and stuff. I saw him again recently. He's like, do you want to go to lunch? And I was like, sure. So I went to lunch. He actually invited me to dinner as well the following day. I also went to dinner with him, which is funny because my girlfriends were like, did you just go on a date? And I'm like, the man is like 70, 80 years old. I don't think it's a date. He's never been married. He's not divorced. No kids. But I don't think it's a date. I wasn't asked to go on a date. I was just asked to like grab lunch and grab dinner. So in my head, it's not a date because what? That's just a little side note of what's been going on my side quest of life. So we were having a conversation and I, was talking about like, do you believe in astrology? And, these are some things that were told to me in my birth chart reading. And I talked to him about some of my dreams. And he was like, well, do you know how many people can become singers and become successful and in that field? Do you know how hard it is? And I told him, I said, listen, I don't need somebody who looks at life in such a cynical way to talk to me. I don't need that. I don't need bitterness. I don't need negativity. I don't need it. And it was so freeing to be able to just tell somebody, let alone somebody who's pretty much a stranger at this point, to say, what you're trying to put onto me, I don't take it. I don't want it. You keep it. You want to pass that on? Fine. Let it be yours. Don't let it be mine. And I refuse to let it be mine. And to think that I, even just a year ago, would have been like, you're right. It doesn't happen for a lot of people. So why would it happen for me? But now my perspective on life is so different. Life is, first of all, so short. The world is so small. Do you know how many times I run into people or see people here in Chicago? I'll take the train. There was a guy, I stepped out of my apartment. I was heading to the Mexico watch party that I went to. He's like, you're beautiful. And I was like, thank you. And we had like a little quick conversation. And the following day, I'm heading to a pottery class. I see him on the train. He said, you're that girl from yesterday. And I said, I am. And the train was not near my apartment. We were stops away. And I ran into him there. And I remember years ago, whenever I was on a dating app, when I was on Hinge, I would literally be like, I'd be like on the train and I'm like, oh my God, I saw that person online, this person online, this person online, this person online. We're all in one cart. This is so awkward. What if one comes up to talk to me? And it's just, in reality, life is short and the world is small. I don't know why we think to ourselves everything is just so big and so vast. And like, sure, and proportionately, yeah, the ocean is so vast and big compared to me. And yeah, a lot of it is unexplored. But that's not to say that the ocean compared to the sky is small. Because everything is perspective. Like, we went out to eat, this older gentleman and I, he started talking about stuff being expensive. And I was like, to you? I was like, it's all perspective. To a millionaire, to a billionaire, to a trillionaire, that's not expensive. To you, if you want to see things as expensive or cheap, go for it. But I have changed my perspective on that. I don't see things as, especially with like the books that I'm reading, we tend to put labels on things as like good or bad, when in reality they just are. And I think that's kind of liberating to just say, and I mean, that's not to ignore the emotions that you're feeling, right? If you're going through a breakup, yeah, it's sad. It's not fun. But for you to label it as bad, how do you not know that this breakup is not leading you to the love of your life? Would you think it was bad then? And hindsight is 2020. But why don't we take that perspective into our everyday lives, into the present moment, into now, of it's not bad, it just is. And I think that that's just a really cool perspective to have. So when you look at life, try to look at it with a gentler eye. And I just feel like it just allows for the present moment to become sweeter. And allow for the experiences that once drowned you, that once made you feel so small, to free you. Because that's kind of the key to it all, is the things that you're so afraid of. It's that you need to do to get over the fear. There's an acronym that somebody used in one of the books I read. It was like, fear is evidence appearing real. I think that's what it was. Fear is evidence appearing real. Fear is all in your head. If you have a fear of dying in a plane crash, obviously I don't wish that upon somebody, but how would you ever know that you're going to die in a plane if you never go on it? It's just all in your head. If you have a fear of failing, of not being able to do something, how will you ever know it's not going to happen because you didn't let yourself try? So just keep that in mind. It is releasing those fears. It is overcoming them. That will ultimately free you. That is why when I was home with my family in April, I decided to sing with the mariachi band at my grandpa's birthday party because I knew that it was a fear that I needed to get over. And I was shaking, literally shaking. I messed up a couple times. But it was through that the mariachi, as soon as I started singing, I mean, I look back at this video, honestly, and he was like, "You sing very pretty." And later on in the night, one of my grandpa's brothers, he tells me in Spanish, he's like, "Tienes la voz de ser cantante. Y se lo puedes hacer, échale ganas." And I had never told my tío that dream. But how validating was that for somebody to just come up to me? I literally have written down all the things that people have done to help validate who I am. I had a cousin come up to me. He dabbed me up. He was like, "Can you sign my shirt?" And it's little things like that that show me and reiterate to me what my life path is. Chase your joy. Your joy is what will ultimately keep you happy, set you free, and allow for you to be more kind and loving to the people around you. Because I would much rather be surrounded by somebody who's joyful than somebody who's bitter or cynical. Choose your joy. And with that being said, I'm going to enjoy my beach day. I hope you all have a wonderful day. Take care of yourselves. Drink some water. And just remember that whatever you're going through, there's an opposite to it. Choose to look at the brighter side. I love you all. I'll catch you in the next one.